Everybody, okay. I wanted to give you a little more detailed modeling of the brainstorming and drafting worksheet. So I'm going to do this with the book Dead Voices by Catherine Arden, which is the sequel to Small Spaces. Now, the problem I ran into a little bit is that I don't want to spoil too much. So if this seems a little bit generic, that is something that with the book Bento, we have to kind of walk that fine line of not giving too many spoilers. I feel like if it happens within the first 4 or 5 chapters, it's not really a spoiler. And then I try to be a little bit more generic if it's toward, the middle or end. So hopefully this will help you a little bit. Now, I wanted to just remind you that 3 out of the 5 objects, and it's written here, have to represent something specific. So object number 1, and it doesn't matter where you put object number 1, but one of the objects has to represent something important about the main character or characters. Object number 2 has to represent a conflict in the story, the main conflict. Object number 3 needs to represent the theme, and we're going to talk more about the theme, which is why I skipped it today. And then object number 4 and 5 are anything you want that's important in the story that represents. So I'm just going to read through what I put down for this. I wanted you to see how I took notes. I think a few of you have put like 1 bullet point or even 2 bullet points in here, and you really need more than that. You are going to be writing a sizable, sort of 6 to 8 sentence paragraph out of these notes. So putting down 1 bullet point just isn't enough information, and you will thank yourself, right? So your future self will thank past self for doing this well to begin with. So the first one I had is just a rope, like a tug of war rope kind of thing. Our dog, we have a rope toy, so I'll probably grab that. I said, so this is about characters, okay? So there's 3 main characters in these stories. I think it's Livy. No, it's something Ollie. Ollie, Coco, and Brian. Okay, so I said the rope represents the close ties that the 3 main characters have. They could give up on each other. It would be actually understandable, but they sort of remain like tied together throughout this really scary situation. And they also trust one another. So like when one pulls in a certain direction or does something in a scary situation, the others like throw themselves in and they pull with them. And I was kind of thinking it felt like a tug of war. So the rope that I'm going to bring in is like a dog's pull toy, and it kind of looks like a tug of war rope. So that's kind of what I was thinking, is like they kind of like throw themselves together and pull together in hard situations. Okay. Object number 2 is a mirror. If you've read the story, you know that mirrors are really important, and that represents the main conflict. So as soon as they arrive at this inn that they go to, they see things in mirrors. And I'm not going to be super specific, but it's a scary story, so you probably can guess. The mirrors seem to be like, I don't know, a connection to this weird ghost world, and that shouldn't be a surprise because it's a scary story. And then both sides of the mirror become important later in the story. And I can't actually talk to you about that. So that's kind of a spoiler, but the mirror does become even more important as you get on through the story. All right, I skipped theme because I want to talk about that separately. And I'm realizing it's just really glowy. All right, object number 4. Nope, I can't do that because now I can't see. All right, trying again. Object number 4 is a ski hat. So there's this legend that you hear about really early on about a skier who went missing in this mountain that they went to. It's interesting because you really don't know why that's important through a lot of the story. It only kind of comes, you kind of understand it toward the end. But in the beginning, Coco, and this is in the first chapter or 2, Coco, one of the main characters, thought she saw someone wearing the ski jacket and like a hat or a ski hat or something. So that is just something that I think really it kind of brings a lot of things together at the end. And then yeah, okay, I'm gonna stop because I lost my train of thought. All right, so I hope this helps you. Remember, this is brainstorming, but get as many thoughts down. It may be that I don't use some of this. And then even as I'm reading, I will probably go back and add to this if I think of something else. There are probably other ways that a rope can represent these three characters and their relationships to one another. So if I think of that as I'm going, um, I'll do that. So please be kind to your future self and start doing this as you read your book. Okay? All right. That's it. Bye.